Have you ever stopped to think about the power of silencing your mind? In ancient wisdom, many stories invite us to reflect on how to deal with both internal and external challenges. Every story has the ability to change emotions and internal patterns. Here on our channel, we talk about mental health through spirituality, bringing reflections and teachings that help transform the way we face our inner dilemmas. There is an ancient legend about Buddha that teaches us, in a profound and subtle way, the value of inner silence. It is said that, on a hot summer day, already at an advanced age, Buddha was walking through a forest. The heat was intense, and the long journey was beginning to weigh on his shoulders. Feeling thirsty and tired, he turned to his faithful disciple, Ananda, and said calmly, "Ananda, we need water. There is a stream a few kilometers from where we passed. Please take my alms bowl and bring me some water." Ananda, always dedicated and attentive, promptly obeyed. He retraced their steps through the forest until he reached the small stream. However, when he arrived, he noticed something that made him hesitate. Some ox carts had recently crossed the stream, stirring up the riverbed with dry leaves and dirt. The water that had once been crystal clear was now murky and muddy. Ananda looked at it and thought, "This water is no longer suitable for drinking." Faced with this situation, he returned to Buddha and explained what had happened. "Master, the water in the stream is dirty and muddy. It is not possible to bring it. Perhaps it would be better to wait until we find another source of cleaner water." Buddha, however, smiled serenely and said, "Ananda, go back to the stream and wait. Do not disturb the water. Just sit nearby and observe." Although confused by the request, Ananda obeyed once again. He returned to the stream and sat on its bank, watching the cloudy water. As time passed, something curious began to happen. Slowly, the mud and leaves started to settle at the bottom, and the water became clear again. Surprised by the transformation, Ananda filled the bowl and returned to the master. As he handed over the water, he said, "Master, now the water is clear and pure. All I did was wait." Buddha then replied, "That, Ananda, is a valuable lesson. Our mind is like this stream. When we are disturbed, agitated, or full of confusing thoughts, everything seems cloudy and chaotic. But if we just wait patiently and do not interfere, everything eventually settles, and clarity returns." This simple yet profound story teaches us that the practice of silence and patience is essential to achieving inner peace. In our daily lives, we experience many moments of mental agitation. Thoughts and emotions accumulate like mud in a stirred-up stream. Often, we try to solve this chaos immediately, acting impulsively or attempting to control everything around us. However, as the story shows us, the true solution lies in pausing, observing, and trusting in the natural process of calming the mind. When we calm the mind, we create a space of silence where confusion dissolves and clarity emerges, like a tranquil lake reflecting the sunlight. In this state of serenity, we are able to see our choices more clearly, distinguishing between what comes from the ego and what comes from our true essence. Inner silence is the bridge that connects the wisdom of the heart with the rationality of the mind, allowing us to make decisions aligned with our highest purpose. It is in this moment of stillness that we can hear the voice of intuition, the one that is often drowned out by the noise of incessant thoughts. This connection allows us to access answers that were already within us, but could only be perceived when we silence the outer world and dive into our own truth. Therefore, when facing dilemmas or uncertainties, let us remember to cultivate this state of calm. It not only brings clarity, but also strengthens our ability to act with wisdom and courage, keeping us aligned with the essence of who we truly are. In a spiritual context, this is an invitation to meditation and mindfulness. When we silence the mind, we create space for truth to reveal itself. Just as the murky water of the stream becomes clear when we stop disturbing it, our perception and understanding become clearer when we allow ourselves simply to be. So, the next time you feel overwhelmed or confused, remember Buddha's teaching. Take a deep breath, sit in silence, and allow the dust of your thoughts and emotions to settle. The clarity you seek does not come from the outside, but from within. And when the mind is silent, peace and wisdom emerge naturally, like the pure water of a stream returning to its original state. And so, the simple wisdom of a stream transformed into an eternal lesson on how to find peace and clarity within yourself. Imagine for a moment that you are standing before a river. If you rush into it, you will stir its waters. The mud at the bottom will rise, and the current will become murky. Thus, instead of finding peace, you dive into chaos. The dirt that was hidden surfaces. Similarly, when we try to dive directly into the mind, we are confronted with a whirlwind of thoughts, wounds, and buried problems. It is easy to believe that by searching for answers in the depths of the mind, we will find clarity. However, what happens is exactly the opposite. More noise arises, more questions emerge, and often we end up more lost than before. That was when I realized that there was a much more effective technique. A simple yet powerful approach to dealing with this. The technique is simply to sit on the bank. Not in the river, but on the bank of the mind. Like a silent observer, you allow yourself to watch everything that emerges. Without interfering, without reacting, without judging. Just observe without attaching yourself to thoughts. It is an act of deep acceptance and patience. When I sat on the bank, I noticed the dirt that existed. It was inevitable. There were dead leaves of old wounds, waters carrying painful memories, open wounds that still seemed to pulse. I also saw desires, unfulfilled ambitions, regrets that bound me like invisible chains. All of it was there. But this time, I did not try to fight against any of it. I simply remained there, sitting, watching. There was no rush, no concern about cleaning it all up immediately. Over time, something extraordinary began to happen. Slowly, the waters started to calm on their own. What had once been turbulent and confusing gradually became clear. The mud settled at the bottom, the leaves rested, and the river revealed its true nature. That was when I understood a great truth. We do not need to change the mind, fight against it, or try to force it to be something it is not. Just by sitting on the bank, without transmitting any movement to it, the mind finds its own balance. This is the heart of true meditation. It is not about controlling, but about letting go. It is not about forcing the mind into silence, but allowing silence to arise naturally when we stop interfering. Meditation is the art of being present, of transferring control to the innate wisdom that exists within us. When you become an observer of the mind, something magical happens. You realize that you are not your thoughts, your emotions, or your problems. You are the one who observes them. And in this state of pure presence, of witnessing, there is a peace that cannot be described, only experienced. So, the next time your mind seems like a turbulent river, do not dive in trying to solve everything. Sit on the bank. Observe. Trust the process. Because, just as the river always finds its course, the mind, when left in peace, always returns to clarity. I would love to hear your thoughts. Leave a comment below sharing your reflections and how you believe we can strengthen this spiritual connection in our daily lives. Together, we can create a more conscious and harmonious community. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more inspiring content.